So my name's Humberto, and I've worked at MacLaren for about 4 years now, just this summer. And I work on the Granite Living Unit.
So I'm Jasmine. I'm a group life coordinator too, as of right now, and I've been working here for a year and a couple days now. As of, yeah. So my schedule, I am off Mondays and Tuesdays, and then I work the rest of the week except Wednesdays. Wednesdays today I have visitation. I work 12:30 to 8:30, and then the rest of the week I'm 6 to 2. But because our campus is needed and we are needing help very much so, there's hours, overtime hours galore. So normally I do at least 2 to 3 overtime shifts, and the money's good, so it works. And then it also, you learn more being on campus.
I work in the morning, so typically my role is I come in and wake the guys up for school, get the guys going to work, they're going to work. After that, we plan out the day, whether they have gym or any type of group outside of the unit. It could be just talking to them, not just standing away and being like this person that's just here watching them. You can engage with them, just have conversations with them, or play all sorts of board games, or watch a movie with them, stuff like that, just to get to know them, build a rapport with the youth. It makes it seem sometimes like it's not such like a correctional facility, but it's like we're just two humans just talking, and it's just makes it better than just I'm at work or they're locked up. It's just two people just getting to know each other and talking.
A day in the life of a GLC changes every day. There's nothing consistent with the boys. You're with youth, so you can have a good day, you can have bad days, but early in the morning, basically my shift is, like, say tomorrow, my shift is 6 to 2. So early in the morning, I basically would wake the boys up, we'll get ready for school, have breakfast, and get ready to just start our day. Some of the boys, they work on the campus, so they go off to work. They pretty much know their schedule. They'll know it better than you, honestly. They're like, no, I have this today. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, I remember. So, because every unit is different too, but when you do have that home unit, it gets a little easier because it's a daily routine.
I think a lot of thing is I go in there I don't want to be acting how I don't want them to act. So like it's a good thing to be a role model for the youth, since one day these guys will be out in the community and you might run into them and you want to, hopefully they could be good members of society. So I think just being there and creating a positive role model, like being a role model for them helps a lot. Like you don't want to be acting how you don't want them to act, I guess.
Honestly, it depends. It depends on how your day goes. It depends on the situation. It also depends on what unit you have. You could be working the courtyard units, which is a little bit different atmosphere than the valley units. The valley units tend to be a little bit more mature, older boys. Not always more mature, but they tend to be a little bit older. So courtyard, I feel like you'll have like the kids constantly in your face. You'll have like the little tantrums, which the valley can throw tantrums too. But I definitely would say you always want to use your voice, like, to calm them down first. I definitely tell people it's your tone. If you come in with a tone of just in negative in general, just your concept and just your atmosphere. If you have like a negative outlook on stuff, then it's going to be a negative day. But honestly, there's been great days. There's been not so great days, but you definitely want to just make sure you keep your tone, because I didn't really have to go hands-on with any youth yet. I've had to break up fights, but it's not really, it's more like, okay, you guys cut it out. And sometimes it can get where you have to get hands-on, but you have support with that. It's not just you.
Well, like any typical job, you have your good days and bad days. And then here, the good days are really good days. The youth are having a good day, not necessarily talking back as much or less behaviors. But those bad days do come, and the bad days can just be like when they don't like to hear the word no. And typically that's their job, to be here and hold them accountable. So sometimes the word no can trigger them for a lot of reasons, either not getting a phone call or just they're not allowed to watch TV at this time. We're not allowed to do this. And typically the negative behaviors can be just a lot of verbal altercations with youth on youth or youth to staff. And like I said, they tend to be minor, but they can escalate to something more if they feel like that's something they want to do.
So I always try to tell the new people that when you come on, you have to realize that you are coming on to a youth prison facility. So you're not going to get the kids that are in grade school that are just going to sit there and be so nice to you. Like they speak their mind. Sometimes their words can get a little aggressive. So they do come off verbally sometimes, but you have the respectful ones that will also kind of put the little ones in check, because normally it comes from the younger youth. I mean, like, they have little smart mouths, but you have to remember you're dealing with youth, and sometimes even their ages, they're still behind. So
before you get hired here, you're trained to kind of de-escalate the youth, like how to talk to them down, separate them from the crowd, and talk to them one-on-one. Because a lot of these guys talk differently when they're outside of a crowd. If they're alone with you in a space, they can maybe tell you some things that they don't want to tell you in front of their friends. So just this is again where the rapport kind of helps you out if you know the youth a little bit more. You can just try to talk them down, tell them it's a bad idea, what they're planning to do, or what they're doing. And typically that could work. But there are instances where you might need a third-party person here that's not involved in it. So that's what we can call security, and security would then kind of handle situations since they're mad at you, they're not mad at them. So maybe that could help de-escalate even more. Like I said, a lot of times they'll start with a lot of talking and stuff. They'll start yelling at you, telling you all sorts of names, and sometimes they do get aggressive. And when that happens, you want to have kind of like not a plan, but like you're trained at the academy to make sure you have enough staff to intervene, whether they're trying to assault a youth or a staff. The idea is to make sure there's enough like two people on one youth to kind of help restrain them instead of just you by yourself. And just calling security, a green one, which is what we call it, is a code for a fight, assault, or something like that. And then they will respond, so you know they're going to respond. So it's just up to you to safely restrain the youth, not just you, but like with someone else, because there's always at least 3 staff on floor. So at least a 2-on-1 ratio to restrain the youth while security's on their way. You also have neighboring units that when they hear the radio call, they'll run out to the unit and assist. So it's relatively quick that it ends, but those first couple seconds, they tend to be a little high pace.
So you do go through a physical training, and they kind of teach you like different defenses to kind of protect yourself. I will be so honest with you, I do remember all of them, but I haven't put any of them into use because I haven't had to. It's more of your voice. Like I said, it's the approach. Like if you're coming at them and you're screaming at them, nobody wants to be screamed at. So you definitely want to approach them with like, okay, let's figure out how we can get you to calm down. Like I'm very upfront with my boys, like, you know better. Like I'll tell them. And they like that. They like the fact that you are upfront with them, and if you're respectful about it. No one wants to be disrespected. So if staff are coming on OIA, portraying that, oh, I'm coming here to, treat these kids some type of way. No, they don't need that, and you don't need to be here.
I have my degree in criminal justice, and a friend told me about MacLaren, and I was like, well, it's interesting because it's working with youth. And growing up, I basically had 2 roads to go to, and I chose the right road, but I knew a lot of people my age that were not on the most positive path in life. So I think being here, being able to help those youth, some of them are around my community, trying to teach them and ways to be a better person, I guess. I think the good outweigh the bad. Like I said, the bad stuff does happen. I mean, this is a correctional facility at the end of the day, but there's a lot of positives, like being a part of their life and knowing that maybe you told them something, you're part of their life in here, and that really helped them change your life outside of being a MacLaren. So I think that's a really good feeling as a staff, knowing that you could have made an impact in their life. And overall, I mean, it's really laid back environment when everyone's hanging out and just having a good time. So it's sometimes I forget I'm at work, honestly, but.
What's so crazy is someone actually came and recruited me from OIA. They're like, you would be really good in the position. They knew me from being a foster parent with the youth boys, and I thought about it. And at that time, I was like, no, I've done that. Like, I don't think that's for me. And then I talked it over with some family members, and they're like, Jasmine, this is absolutely for you. Like, I'm in the community with the youth now on the outs, so I'm like, why not start with the ones that are locked up so they can make that change? So it's kind of a bittersweet story for me why I chose to come here, but I definitely needed I needed to feel like I'm helping make a change. And the youth that I have on my unit, as well as the youth that I come encounter with, that's just my goal. My goal is to install something in them, or any youth that I talk to that day, install something new in them that's positive. Even if it's recognizing that they passed the test on a class, like, they don't get that acknowledgement. And sometimes some of them don't have the parents to have that support. So that's why they call me Mama J, because I'm mama to everybody. So I'm like, no, they need that recognition. Like, show that to them. So mine is because our youth need help. And so that's why I'm here. God placed me here. That's why I tell people.